And the countdown is over. Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning. I've got Cameron and Mario joining us this morning. Good morning, gentlemen. How we doing today?
All right. Still
Man, I'm fantastic.
Glad you could join us this morning, gentlemen. So,
Still haven't gotten a haircut, bruh. Like you get a pair of electric clippers from Walmart for like $50, and then you could just be a skinhead. Just complete your transformation.
Transformation. I've seen Mario with a skinhead.
This is one of the problems from like working remotely, working at home, is that it gives you the ability to effectively render yourself as a homeless man, which is what homeless veteran. Okay, it's just another statistic, right?
So
do you know what first trap means, Cameron? Do you know what?
Do I know what
means?
Yes.
Okay, so you're embracing the fact that you are basically our mascot, or our chum that we toss to the homosexual contingency.
Mario, do you know what Legion means?
Yes.
Okay, now do you see why that's such an insulting fucking question to ask somebody?
Oh,
it's me. What did you expect? Anyway.
Speaking of insults, segue, Chris. Segue. It's right here. Segue. Insults. People lose things.
I was just wondering if we were going to do a show topic this morning. So we are going to be talking about the election. It's 2 weeks out. We're gonna look at kind of the fallout, what has happened in the interim. Cameron, this is the show you wanted to do this morning, so you want to get us started?
Well, yeah. Boy, just toss me all the way out there, buddy. Okay.
Can I ask Cameron a question real quick?
Sure.
Why do you have a portrait of Rob Reiner behind you?
That's my dead father.
Oh shit! Sorry, dude.
Yeah. You know what though? It's okay because he would have thought that was funny. So.
Okay.
Yeah, he really would have.
I'm a monster. Okay, I'm sorry.
Anyhow, so here we are. It's 2 weeks out since the election that was supposed to be close. It was supposed. Oh man, just razor thin. Just if we run the scenario 1,000 times, Kamala Harris wins 501 and Donald Trump wins 499. But it's still, just too close to call. And in fact, it was not too close to call. It was so not too close to call that.
But for the first time in history, we knew on the night who the president was going to... Oh. Wait, no, that wasn't the first time in history, was it?
No. Well, look, that's not what I was going to say. What I was going to say was, for the first time in history... see, you've thrown me off. For the first time in 20 years... Republicans are going to win the popular vote. They're going to win the popular vote by about 3 million votes. It looks like it's going to be about 76 million votes versus 73 million votes for Donald Trump's favor.
That's getting harder and harder to be certain of, with Democrats across the country counting illegal ballots openly and blatantly, like declaring out loud, we are counting these ballots even though we know they're illegal.
Oh yeah, like they're literally trying to steal a Senate seat in Pennsylvania right now. But that is not
after stealing one in Arizona already. Yes.
That is not what I'm driving at. What I'm driving at is, if we take all of the election shenanigans out of it, Donald Trump still wins, Kamala Harris still loses, and there's some pretty solid reasons for it. And look, Donald Trump won, okay? But it's not just that Donald Trump won. Kamala Harris lost. And Kamala Harris lost because she was a bad candidate. There are people out there that don't want to hear this, but she was a bad candidate. And there's a couple of things that I'd like to get into briefly about her being a bad candidate, but let's just start with kind of the surface level one. Hey, how many delegates did she win in the 2020 primary? Oh, that's right. It was zero. Yes, she won 0
Not only did
seats.
she win no delegates, not a vote was cast for her.
Well, no, there were some votes that were cast for her in protest, but um she'd already dropped out by the time that became an issue. Like, I know somebody that voted for Kamala Harris after she dropped out, and whoo, I bit my tongue on that one.
It's okay. Let him
Yeah,
some early
I'm
ballots
sorry.
and
If you voted for somebody who dropped out, you didn't vote. Your vote doesn't count. And quite frankly, if you voted for somebody who dropped out, you aren't qualified to vote. But
Yes,
that's a whole topic on its own. Go ahead.
but that's a whole separate thing. And she didn't just not get any votes in 2020. Remember when Tulsi Gabbard, Hawaiian, punched her into the stratosphere, just
Yeah.
with the whole slave labor thing, and keeps people in prison past their sentences. So there's that. But then more broadly speaking, not more broadly, more narrowly. Broadly was what I just did. More narrowly speaking, this
This
particular
may be the best
situation.
comment we see all day.
I love Tulsi for how much she hates Kamala. I love Tulsi because I've seen what she looks like. And I'm shameless in that. But what happened here, and this is I don't think we should ever let this go. Democrats decided that they would save democracy by not having democracy, by saying, "Oh, okay, I voted for Joe Biden in the primary, but oops, man." Turns out, for years, the people that have been saying he has dementia, he did in fact have dementia, and so now we're just going to swap out Kamala, somebody that didn't run in a primary. So she lost.
Real quick. One of the things we keep hearing that I've heard a lot of from, I mean, like well-known news pundits. I think it was Van Jones. I was so disappointed that essentially Republicans voted against democracy. They gave up on democracy. They voted against democracy. I'm like, you keep using that word, son. I don't think it means what you think it means.
During when did that start? Do you think? Like you know what I mean? Like the Democrats will latch on to a term, okay, or a concept, and that will become part of their big lie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they put it in the memo.
Repeated ad nauseum to become like the firmware update for NPCs. You know what I mean? Like certain words I never want to hear Democrats ever say again. Okay, like the number one for is rhetoric. Okay, they use rhetoric as negative speech. Like virtually every broadcast, okay, you see of network news. Anytime they talk about Trump, they're always talking about rhetoric. All right, probably most of their voters don't even know what it means.
Yeah, Mario, it's like the midwits that like to say, "Oh, well, correlation doesn't equal causation." Yeah, but when you say that, you think it means that correlation excludes causation, and that's not how that works. Correlation doesn't guarantee causation, but it certainly gives us a reason to investigate.
Yeah,
right. It's like saying a single point of intelligence cannot be used to make a product. You know what I mean? Whereas that's fine, but it's one of many single sources that get fused together to make a product. You know what I mean? So yeah, I hear you. So Trump won white men, white women, and Hispanic men. I think that was the big X factor, was the Hispanic men voting for Trump, really. And
no shit, Miami-Dade County.
And significant drop in voter participation, okay, in core Democrat constituencies, right? Like vote turnout down by 2.5%, okay, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in a high population density area, that's a massive. And that's pretty much what did it. Now the problem is you're looking at the lower voter turnout for the Democrats, right? And if you're looking at it in relation to the 2020 election, you're looking at probably false information. You know what I mean? So the turnout is artificially down because the turnout in 2020 was artificially high, right? Because ballot printer go brrr. So
Yeah,
yeah.
where did that 8 million votes go?
Exactly.
Just as an aside, I love how the lefties are like, we need to demand a recount. Where did the votes go? And I'm like,
Like,
yeah,
you're almost there. You're so
you're
close.
so close.
But, you know, to your point, like this is the county by county map from 2020. And this, so take a look here. Take a look at Alaska, right? Take a look at the shape of California and Texas and this big splotch right here. And as we're fond of saying on the show, there are no red states, only blue. There are no blue states, only red states with blue cancers. Well, this is 2024, right? Alaska went entirely. California lost quite a bit.
That's not
You've
2024.
still got. Is it not?
No, San Bernardino County went red. The Inland Empire was.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
California.
Let me correct that real quick.
Well, while you do that, look, while you do that, Mario, you're not wrong. Like Trump made inroads and big gains, and all that was very important. But part of what I was driving at is that Kamala was bad. That she was, in fact, uniquely bad because of the situation and because of the type of candidate she is personally. I mean, all that. Well, we can be unburdened by what has been to what we're going to become, and all of that other like wine mom nonsense.
How many of her campaign appearances did you watch? Did you watch any during the election cycle?
I
watched a
watched
handful of them. I couldn't, but I could not. I could only handle like a minute or two because she's a fucking cringe machine. You know what I mean? Like you can't listen to her without the media constantly applying like lacquer and lipstick to that pig. It's simply unpresentable. Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna jump in with both feet. Part of this is not Kamala's fault. She was set up for failure, and here's what I mean when I say that. She was the first female black vice president. She was the DEI of DEI candidates. In fact, she was the first half black, half Indian female vice president, which means you can't criticize her. Well, you can't have the first female black Indian vice president make mistakes or be wrong or be bad at their job. No. Oh man, what? Can't do that. No. There's no way the firsts can be evil or wrong or stupid or make mistakes. And because of that, she was thoroughly unvetted. Okay, Dan Quayle could have done a better job running for president than her, because Dan Quayle got shit from the media all the time. Dan Quayle
well,
had
certainly wouldn't have gotten caught on camera dropping shotgun shells.
Look, different vice president, but that is funny. Tim Walz being, yeah. But the point is, the Democrats' own policies, their own ways of thinking about things, set her up for failure. If she had to go through a primary, or if she had to go through some real media scrutiny, I watched enough of her campaign appearances to think that she was drunk at some of them.
Yeah.
Like seriously, that bag of cocaine that got found at the White House, we used to joke that it was Hunter's, but it might have been Kamala's, because there's a thing where people mix cocaine and alcohol, because cocaine's an upper and alcohol's a downer, and if you do it just right, you get way fucked up, and hopefully your heart doesn't explode. And
well, and there were also several videos of Kamala on the campaign trail doing a lot of. She's talking and she's sitting there scratching at her face while she's talking, and then she keeps picking her nose while she's talking on camera. It's like, oh, honey, that's
yeah, she's going for them $3 boogers.
Yeah, buddy.
But the point is,
she's powered by a daily intake of 1,500 milliliters of New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. I have this on good authority.
Exactly. Well, it's the laugh. It was the laugh. So I guess my point would be my message is not so much as it is to Republicans, but anybody that's a non-Republican, a Democrat, whatever. You were stabbed in the back. Kamala was a paper tiger. She was entirely a media creation, and because you were sold this one lie about Trump being Cheeto Hitler, which, kind of funny. If he's Hitler, everybody seems to be doing the peaceful transfer of power thing with no problem. So maybe he wasn't actually exactly Hitler.
Well,
but you were sold this whole thing about how this is the woman. She's uniquely positioned in history to defeat the Hitler, and we're going to stop the fascists, and we're going to win, and we're going to save your abortions. And no, actually, she was a terrible choice for that because of everything from the fact that we have to have the DEI thing be this sacrosanct thing that you can't criticize, to the fact that there was no primary, to the fact that she didn't actually go through any media scrutiny. Like, you guys were lied to, and your fellow Democrats, like the reason why Trump made inroads with black men and Latino men, and it's not just because Trump made inroads, but it's because so many people like Eric Weinstein, for example, said, I can't vote for the Democrats. They're nuts. I'm endorsing Trump because I'm anti-endorsing the Democrat Party. And the artificial inflation of Kamala is part of that. Now, please, Chris, I just wanted to make sure that I buttoned all that up. Now, I'll shut my thirst trap.
You mentioned the peaceful transfer of power, and I want to be very clear.
We're not there yet.
There is no peaceful transfer of power. Just like there was not a peaceful transfer of power in 2016 when we got the Russia collusion hoax and the piss tapes, et cetera, et cetera. The Democrats have filed suit to challenge the outcome of every election for over 50 years. I'm sorry, of every election they've lost for over 50 years. This one will be no different. And in fact, the Kamala Harris campaign is right now currently fundraising to fund, at least in theory, to fund recounts. And like we mentioned earlier in the show, across the country, we've got Democrats who are in positions of power and on election boards, et cetera, who are actively and openly, like, not just in plain sight, but explicitly stating we are counting illegal ballots.
Yeah,
we are intentionally breaking the law.
Yes, Bucks County, Pennsylvania.
And Biden just issued the authorization for Ukraine to start using American missiles to attack the Kursk region of Russia. Essentially, what he's trying to do, he's trying to cause just enough havoc on his way out that he hopes World War III starts after Trump takes the helm, so that in 2 years, when we start the campaigns for the midterm, the Democrats get to say, "Look what Trump did! Trump set the world on fire." But in the interim, between the time of the election itself and today, we have already seen the mere fact of Trump having been elected. Not even gotten to January 6th with confirmation and January 20th with inauguration and all that. Just Donald Trump won the election and the popular vote. We've got the president in Korea dragging out his golf clubs and learning how to play golf so he could talk to President Trump. We've got companies changing the way they do business, canceling foreign deals to prepare for the tariff situation. We've got heads of state from Palestinians, Hamas, Putin himself, all over the world, heads of state where there are conflicts saying we are ready to come to the table and have a conversation with President Trump. Just the mere fact of us having been elected has swept the planet in meaningful, positive development already.
Well, yeah, Trump's the guy that'll directly tell other world leaders, look, please don't do the thing. I'll bomb the shit out of you. I don't want to bomb the shit out of you, but if you do the thing, I'll bomb the shit out of you. And
in fact, he'll go so far as to say, listen, I will either Moab one of your entire regional concerns, or I will put a tomahawk in your kitchen window.
Yeah.
You know, hey, dealer's choice.
Well, they're definitely trying to box Trump in on Ukraine. They want to manipulate the game board before he sits down to the table and rolls his first dice. They want that stacked against him so he can't pull out. So anything to accelerate the carnage there would be. It's actually good for no one, okay? But apparently the people in charge of our country think it is. Well, it is good for them because it means they can continue to launder money to their interests. All right. So, and yeah, it's attack 'em missiles, okay? Medium range ballistic missiles that are going to be authorized for use in Kursk. Kursk is already a battlefield. I don't know if that's going to be a major provocation to the Russians, but.
It is an escalation. I mean, obviously, it's an escalation, but as you say, it's already a battlefield. So, how much of an escalation is it really? Except for America's putting its stamp on it. Okay, use our badass missiles to kill Russians. Like that. That's certainly a problem.
It's kind of like the thing with Snowden. Right, Snowden came out and said, "Hey, we're spying on everybody, and we're spying on these people," and it was a big deal. And America's so corrupt. And well, here's the part he left out: it's like everybody's spying on everybody, and everybody already knows it. And what he did is he walked into the party and pointed at the guy that farted. There were 30 people in the room. They all had the fucking beans. Everybody knew everybody else was shitting their pants. And Snowden just went in and pointed at one of them. So everybody else got to pretend, oh, yeah, I saw him whiff the cheek. I know it was him. And they all got to pretend like they weren't doing the same shit. And so that's kind of what's going on over there is Biden has just allowed Russia to blame the U.S. for everything that happens going forward. And that's huge for the global political stage, not just American politics here, but also for American politics here. They like to tell us that the Russians are involved in disinformation and bots and troll farms and all this shit on Twitter, and they're going to tell you what they want you to hear. And guess who's going to hear Putin say everything is America's fault that's happening in the Ukraine, and then say, I want to blame Trump. When, I mean, it's patently obvious that the entire Ukraine situation is the direct result of closing the Keystone XL pipeline and then moving all that funding over to the German pipeline and directly into Putin's pocket. Biden didn't just give Putin the impetus to conduct this invasion. He gave him permission and he wrote the check for it.
Yeah. Yeah, just real quick, Liberty Girls in the comments saying Trump never conceded. Yeah, I know. That's why I will say until the day I die that President Trump's 3-0 in presidential elections. He just only got credit for 2 of them.
Agreed.
But that's
fraud vitiates everything.
Yeah, that's going to have to be that's going to be about it for me. I just thought it was worth mentioning and worth stating. It's not just that Donald Trump won; it's that Kamala lost, because she was a terrible candidate. Because the left was lied to, and it was a lie built upon a lie, built upon a lie, built upon a lie. And part of what happened is there were people on the left that kind of started to wake up and be like, look, I don't care how bad Trump is. Everything that's going on with this Kamala situation is obviously worse. We don't want World War III, so fuck you. Like, it's like Joe Rogan was a Bernie bro, okay? Tulsi Gabbard was a Bernie bro, and they endorsed Trump. Like,
you
problem's not with us.
As far as enthusiasm for Kamala, Cameron, or both of you guys, can you guess what age demographic actually saw an increase in votes for the Democrat Party this election cycle? It might surprise you.
Was it the desperate old people who are afraid their
Yes.
Social Security's going to go away?
It's the 65 plus cohort is the only group where she actually gained votes. So, and you've seen them, crusty, angry, miserable fucking boomers who just basically hate life and hate everyone around them. Yep.
And
curmudgeons.
It's not going to be easy to do, but we have to end Social Security. They kept trying to smear Trump by saying that if he was elected, that he would end Social Security, and he said over and over he won't. And the fact of the matter is, politically, it's untouchable. No politician is going to run on ending Social Security. Some Republicans will offer a mealy-mouthed concept of somehow privatizing Social Security, but that can't be done. That's not possible. The only option is to end Social Security. And if you look at the numbers as an investment portfolio, Social Security is worse than a Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme at least generates money. It actually creates wealth. The Social Security plan takes what would otherwise be valuable wealth building investments. I'll see you later, Cameron. I know you got to go. The Social Security scheme takes what would otherwise be profitable investments and destroys them. I mean, you get less than half of what you would get out of Social Security. From Social Security, you end up with less than half of what your return would be on the same amount of dollars invested at just 5%.
I got you.
Right. So just a mediocre long-term investment.
Pitt Danny brought up what I was going to say. It's remember back in 2012 when Mitt Romney during the campaign talked about means testing for Social Security reform, right? And it was like political suicide. So yeah, that needs to be brought up again. I mean that's one way to patch it up, okay, without having to totally rehaul it, okay, or scrap it. But yeah, means testing. There's if you need a politician, okay, skilled enough to actually sell that to the American public, that could be at least a medium-term solution to the problem. But
yeah, and it's not going to happen. What's going to happen is Social Security is just going to fail.
Isn't it? If you look at a pie chart of the U.S. government's expenditures, isn't it like a quarter of the whole budget is Social Security?
That number is hard to nail down because of the amount of money that has gone into Social Security and then been laundered back out into other programs.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's depressing, isn't it, Pitt Danny? What I was supposed to do, my original plan when I joined the Army was I was going to, every month, I was going to buy a 1 ounce gold coin. Okay. And I could have afforded it because I lived in the barracks and had basically nothing but a phone bill. If I had actually done that, then I would have, I'd have a lot of tangible wealth. God, if I had just bought like 10,000 Bitcoins back when they cost 50 cents a piece, you know what I mean? Back in 2010 or 2008, be a different story. I knew.
Yeah. Yeah, we can what if and reminisce all day. I mean, I put together a plan and designed a build to build a Bitcoin farming computer. And I had the cash in hand. I could have done it. It would have been about $25,000 to build the Bitcoin farming computer. And if I'd have gone ahead and done it back then when I was first thinking about it, I would have 4 Bitcoins today.
At 90,000 a pop. Yep.
At 90,000 a pop.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I don't have anything else unless you want to stick in it long enough to pull up the Zero Hedge article and go through it, Mario.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to just pull up that chart, we can go through that quickly. Assuming you can zoom in on it, because otherwise it'd be impossible for the audience to see.
I can zoom in on it.
This wasn't my idea for the show. It was Cameron's, and I'm just babysitting. I'm babysitting his ugly mixed race baby.
Okay.
All
Can
right.
you tell what you're looking at?
I can, but that's because I already know it. But if
Okay.
you can
Go
zoom
ahead.
in on that, zoom in on there. It's actually 6 different charts. Is that the most you can zoom? Oh, okay.
How's that?
Yeah, that's good.
And
All
just
right,
let me
so
know when you're ready, and I can scroll down to the other three.
right. So what it shows is what I said before. Basically, a coalition of white men, white women, and Latino men are what pushed Trump over the top. And basically, that's why he got Nevada. Okay, absolutely. One of the reasons he got Arizona, even Pennsylvania, which has a huge Hispanic population, for whatever reason. Anyway, looking at Harris made inroads to white voters, no college degree, lost big on voters of color, no college degree. Okay, so we got voters of color, no degree. Okay, this one, the blue, the
Right.
huge,
This
the
one right
huge
here.
downward blue. Okay, thing. All right. So basically, working class voters of color. There was a 5% drop in voter turnout. Okay, which is massive. So it was a lack of enthusiasm. Like Cameron was saying, she's a terrible candidate and generated no excitement, no enthusiasm, and the media could not gaslight the average person enough to make that happen. So that's huge. 5% drop in basically more or less black people, 5% lower turnout. It's like the huge push that the Trump campaign was making, like we're going to bring in the Jamals. You know what I mean? This year, they didn't really. Trump got like what 2% more, but what he got was just a lack of participation for Kamala. Okay, which is just as good.
It
And
keeps popping up the header. Damn it.
I know.
Go away, header. There you go.
I know. All right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it says, it shows Trump performed better in all racial groups than 4 years ago compared to Biden and Harris.
Correct.
Oh, and that's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. What you say?
Right. And another one here, the one where we knew there was going to be some type of it was going to be something akin to a landslide early on when you started seeing the vote totals or the results coming in from the Eastern liberal, Eastern blue, East Coast blue states. All right. Look at that chart on the one on the right. Trump redshift hit safe blue states the hardest. See down the one at the bottom, safe blue. How there's a massive 7 point increase for Trump.
Right.
You saw, yeah, the stream I was watching, right? It was actually focusing in on New Jersey. Okay, New Jersey became a swing state, believe it or not, in 2024. And they're looking at the vote totals coming in from New Jersey, and basically you can extrapolate what that's going to mean for the rest of the country. Okay, yeah, you knew early on that Trump was going to win. It's just no one wanted to call it early. Okay, for fear of being having egg on their face. But yeah, like I said, the only other thing I might want to touch on regarding this is, you notice how there's not really any resistance this time. Like, where's Antifa? Where are the pink hats? You know what I mean? They're all very much demoralized right now. I think they're demoralized, and
I hope they're demoralized because the alternative is they're biding their time to do something dramatic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, how many
Waller is dead nuts right here.
Mm-hmm.
The Trump is for you, Kamala is for they, them was a very effective campaign ad for encouraging minority communities to not vote for Kamala. Kind of the dirty little secret is that black men especially are not into the whole LGBTQ thing. They are really not into it.
Except the ones in Atlanta.
Yeah.
It'd be quite zesty.
Yeah. And that's also true for Hispanic men. white men, there are a lot more liberal white men that are tolerant of the whole LGBTQ thing than any other category. You get into Latinos, blacks, Asians, Middle Easterners. They are not having it with the LGBT stuff,
Well,
especially
even the LGBT stuff, they are not having it with other LGBT. The LGB kind of views the T as like basically a cement block tied to their ankle, sinking them.
Yeah.
So there is some infighting there, and yeah, it's the transgender stuff. Like I don't think they realize now, but that transgenderism shit, like that's an albatross around the neck of the Democrat Party. No one supports that shit. No one. Okay, that maybe a tiny percentage, okay, of each racial group might support it, but that's it. Like you're not even going to get the majority. Even in safe blue districts, even the white liberal Democrats there, it's not unanimous that they support that. Okay, and no one wanted to say anything. That's the thing. It's like you say that Kamala was unvetted, okay, because she never had to go through the process, right? Well, the transgenderism also as a policy, that was never properly vetted either, because to speak out against it, if you're a Democrat, would be blasphemy basically. Leftism's a religion, as Dennis Prager would always say, right? It's a religion, and if you disagree with them, you've committed blasphemy. That's how they view it. Anyway.
Yep.
Bit of a tangent.
Well, yeah. Now we're well and truly off on a tangent. I think we've pretty much covered the topic to the extent that we wanted to. So yep. I'll go ahead and put a pin in it there. You got a minute after the show, Mario?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I'm going to give you a call after I lock this up. And for the rest of you guys, it's a new week. It's a new day. I hope everybody's feeling good and ready to get out there and do some damage. Thanks for watching this morning. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow.